Hey everybody, it's Ted Spaghetti and I'm back for another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 8609 Voyager Class Wreck Car. I gotta say, Studio Series did it again. They're hitting it out of the park with the 86 figures. And Wreck Car here is no exception. Before I get into the figure, here's the box. It's a regular Studio Series box. I'm not going to take out the background right now, but the background is actually really quite nice. I really think these backgrounds are better than the Babers ones. I don't know, they're just more fun to look at. And then here's the back. It's just pretty boring, but yep. The first thing I'd like to note on this figure, at least in robot mode, is the head sculpt. This head sculpt is just spot on to the cartoon. I don't know who's designing these head sculpts, but they look perfect. I think that the Studio Series 86 ones, at least all the Voyager class figures, have really good head sculpts. Now, the aesthetic didn't quite carry over for ones like Cup and Blur, but this one is really good. It's got all the details that you would want, the beautiful mustache and goatee, as well as the little red eyes, some red on his head here, these little gold stripes here along the side, as well as the windscreen, a faux windscreen, mind you, that's painted this really light blue. The real windscreen is right behind him, right behind his head. So, yeah. Otherwise, he comes with 3 accessories. He comes with 2 wheels and a battle axe that spins, which is really fun. I like this. I like this accessory a lot. And it spins really well, which is pretty cool. So here's his wheels. One of them is a tad bit thicker than the other one. So this one is the back one, this one is the front. And the back one has kind of a little, I don't know, has some leeway to move around. This one doesn't really move at all, at least on the axle, but yeah. These simply just go on his left leg and arm. You can take his battle axe, just put it there in his hand. I can't say that Wreck Car has a ton of paint applications, but that's okay because his character is very much a color blocked kind of character. So each individual part on him is kind of a different color. The only paint on this figure, I'd say, is the orange here on his legs. Of course, here on his face. And his arms here, as well as here a little bit on the back, but nowhere near as much paint as a lot of other figures that you see nowadays. I think paint budgets are pretty good right now, so you don't see a lot of missing paint on figures. So I think he looks pretty great, considering he has not so much paint on him. One other thing to note in the details here is his nipples. He's got his nipples here, and I think they did them pretty well. I don't think any other Wreck Car figure has had nipples quite like this, so good for him. Moving on to the articulation, Wreck Car is actually extremely well articulated, despite how blocky he looks. He's got over 90-degree out here at the shoulder. He can go all the way up like that far. He's got 360 rotation here. He doesn't have a butterfly joint, but that's understandable. He's got a above elbow swivel, and then he's got a bend at the elbow. I'm going to take off this wheel to show you here. He's got kind of a sword holding hand here, as well as a wrist swivel. Right here, now he's got a waist swivel, which is a bit loose, but that's okay because he can go all crazy like, just kind of funny. As well as he's got an ab crunch due to the transformation, and it is actually really impressive. He's got his little pouches here articulate so that you can pull his leg out here all the way. This leg, it works a little better because he doesn't have the wheel on it. So I guess I'll just show this leg. So he's got all the way out on a soft ratchet, as well as forward and back. Standard bend at the knee. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got some forward ankle rockers, and they go pretty much all the way back, as well as a slight ankle tilt, which is on a separate joint from this upper, upper foot joint that controls his toe pointing. So it's on a separate piece here, which I think is pretty cool. Up here, he's got a full 360 motion here at the head, as well. He can look up. And right here, he's got ball jointed nipples, so you can move them any which way. So let's get into some side comparisons. Here he is with Studio Series, Earthrise Sunstreaker. And here he is with Siege Springer. And he's just a little bit taller than Siege Springer. So I don't have my Earthrise Optimus Prime here with me, but if I were to estimate, he's about the same size as Earthrise Optimus. So without further ado, let's get into his transformation. So here we have Wreck-Gar in his motorcycle mode, and this is a pretty neat mode. I can't say it really looks like any kind of motorcycle, of course, on Earth, but it is pretty cool considering what it looks like next to its animation model. The only real detail that's missing here is the fact that his chest should split, and there's a kind of like an engine piece in there, but they couldn't do that for this figure, but that's okay. He's got like basically dual kickstands because his vehicle mode is so wide that it can't really balance on one leg. Or maybe it can it? Yeah, I guess it could. Never mind, my point is, oh geez. Okay, anyways, you gotta have both of them out of there. But if you put him up, he moves along pretty cool. However, due to the way his wheels are, with these little studs on them, it doesn't really work on a totally flat surface, such as like a hardwood floor or maybe a countertop. It's not going to work on that. So if you're going to have them rolling around, the carpet is really kind of best for this, which is a bit unfortunate. In terms of detail here, you have this kind of cool silver paint showing some mechanical detail in here, and I really do love this gold paint that they used here. As you can see, this whole kind of front section here is basically Wreck-Gar's head, but really large, which is what the G1 figure is. This is his head on the original figure. But here they've made his head a faux piece, and this just turns into his back, really. But what is really cool is that Wreck-Gar's head actually comes up through here, and you can see that little white bit, or this kind of bit right here, was the top of the head. And on the back of it, you can see that it's got some little gauges there on the back of his head sculpt. So that's really neat. That's one of my favorite parts of this figure. He's also got some kind of rubbery plastic handlebars, and his little weapon here can be stored on the stand plug on his back. So you can kind of just go there. You can almost pretend it's like some kind of like wind-powered engine or a fan or something. I don't know, but it's neat. The only other real feature I can talk about in this mode is the fact that he can have other figures ride him, which I don't think a lot of the other figures can do that, at least in terms of Wreck-Gar figures. But you can kind of put a figure on here. This isn't the best one to put on here. I think these are specifically made to be compatible with other Wreck-Gars, but you can put a figure on here and ride him just fine, which is pretty cool. I'm wondering if they're going to do repaints of this figure as other Junkions. So that'll be cool to see. But otherwise, that was my review of Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar. So thank you for watching my video, and stay tuned for other videos to come. Thank you.